stars stretched endlessly around the ship, called Starlight Hope. Inside, the air was tense and heavy with fear. People moved quietly through narrow halls, their faces tired but determined. They had been running for a long time, from places that did not want them. The universe had turned its back on them. Queen Elizabeth Hayes stood at the front of the ship, looking out at the dark space. Her eyes were sharp, filled with fire and hope. She was young, but she carried the weight of many lives on her shoulders. Around her, the small group of refugees waited. Women and men, boys and girls, all hoping for a new chance. Elizabeth's voice broke the silence. We will not give up. We cannot give up. This ship holds our future, and we will find a place where we belong. Her words were quiet, but strong. Captain Daniel Pierce nodded beside her. Daniel was the best pilot among them. He had flown through storms and asteroid fields without a single mistake. His hands rested on the console, ready to guide the ship through any danger. Dr. Rachel Mason sat nearby, studying the ship's maps and signals. She was smart and quick. Her work had saved many lives already. She knew the science of space better than most. Even in the darkest times, Rachel found solutions. Lieutenant James Carter stood guard near the door. He was tall and serious, watching every corner. His job was to keep everyone safe. Danger could come from outside or even inside, and James was ready. The universe had been cruel to these people. They had once lived in a distant colony that others called home, but those who ruled there did not accept them, called them weak, useless, and a threat. The refugees were forced to leave, to run away, or face worse. Their ship had become their home, their shelter. But the endless journey was hard. Food and water were limited. Every day was a test of will and strength. Some cried in secret. Others grew silent and cold. But Queen Elizabeth's courage kept them together. One evening, alarms suddenly rang. The ship shook as it passed near a large, bright star. Daniel's voice was calm but urgent. We are close to the border of a new system. I will try to contact the planet below. Elizabeth stepped forward, hope rising inside her. Do it, Daniel. This might be the place we've been searching for. Daniel sent the message. Ship waited, its lights blinking in the dark. Minutes passed like ours. Then, a voice replied from the planet's surface. It was cautious but friendly. We see your ship. Tell us who you are and what you want. Elizabeth took a deep breath. She spoke slowly and clearly. We are refugees. We have nowhere left to go. Seek only shelter and peace. Will you help us? The response was not immediate. Crew held their breath. Finally, the voice said, Prepare to land. We will receive you. But know this, we have rules. You must follow them to stay. A wave of relief swept through the ship. For the first time in a long while, they had a chance. Elizabeth smiled, tears forming in her eyes. Thank you, she whispered. We will honor your rules. We only want to live in peace. As the Starlight Hope descended, the refugees looked out at the new world below. It was green and blue, with oceans and mountains. The air seemed clean and fresh even from space. Elizabeth felt hope growing in her heart. Maybe this world would be different. Maybe here they could build a new life. Maybe the universe had not rejected them completely. But deep inside, she knew the road ahead would not be easy. The past had taught her that. She looked at her people, at their tired but hopeful faces. They were strong. They had survived worse. Queen Elizabeth stood tall and proud. She was their queen, their leader, and she would fight to protect them, no matter what came next. The universe might have turned away, but mankind was still here. And here they would prove they belonged. The ship landed softly on the new world. Outside the windows, the refugees saw tall trees and wide fields. The air smelled fresh and clean. The people inside the Starlight Hope were tired but hopeful. They'd found a place that might finally accept them. Queen Elizabeth stepped down first. She looked around with careful eyes. The sky was clear, the sun warm. This world felt different. It did not seem cold or cruel like the others. The ground under her feet was firm and steady. For the first time, she felt like maybe they could stay. A group of people came to meet them. They were soldiers and leaders from this planet. Among them was Commander Laura Bennett. She was strong and calm. She looked at the refugees without fear, but with careful respect. "Welcome to Earth," Laura said. "We have seen your ship in space. We want to know who you are." Elizabeth bowed her head slightly. "We are refugees. We have been cast out by many. We only want a safe place to live and to work hard for a better life." Laura nodded. "We have room for those who follow our rules and help build our world. You must prove yourselves." Elizabeth looked at her people. Some were nervous, some were ready. Captain Daniel Pierce spoke up. "We will do whatever it takes. We want to be part of this world." Over the next days, the refugees began to work with Earth's people. They cleared land and built shelters. The young children played with local kids, learning to trust again. Rachel Mason shared her knowledge. She helped improve the farms and the water systems. Her ideas made life easier and safer. Elizabeth met often with President John Mitchell, a wise man who led the planet. He was cautious, but open. He listened to her story and saw the strength in her people. Still, not everyone was happy. Some on Earth worried the newcomers would cause trouble. There were whispers of fear and doubt. Elizabeth knew she had to show that her people were not weak or dangerous. Lieutenant James Carter trained the refugees to protect the colony. They learned to use weapons and defend their homes. James worked hard to keep the peace and stop fear from growing. One evening, a group of Earth citizens came to the colony. They carried signs and shouted angry words. Elizabeth watched as her people stood firm but calm. She stepped forward to speak. "We came here to live in peace. We want to work and grow with you. We are not enemies. We are your neighbors." Her voice was steady. The crowd quieted, but some still turned away. Elizabeth knew winning trust would take time. In the quiet moments, Elizabeth talked with Daniel and Rachel. "This place feels right, but we must be strong. The universe has not forgotten us, and neither can we forget who we are." Daniel nodded. "We survived because we never gave up. We will prove we belong here." Rachel smiled softly. "Our knowledge, our courage, our will to live this is what makes us strong. We can build something better here." As the weeks passed, the refugees and Earth's people began to work more closely. They shared food, stories, and hope. Slowly, the walls of doubt started to break down. New friendships formed and respect grew. One day, a loud alarm sounded across the colony. People rushed to their positions. Daniel's voice came over the radio. "Unknown ships approaching. We do not know their intent." Elizabeth stood tall. She looked at her people and Earth's soldiers. "We fight together. We protect what we have built." The ships came closer, dark and silent in space. Fear rose in the hearts of many. But Elizabeth's calm gave strength. The new world was not safe yet. The universe still held dangers. But the refugees and Earth's people stood side by side, ready for whatever came next. They were no longer alone. They were forced to be reckoned with, and they would not be rejected. Again, the ships in space moved closer to the new colony. The people on the ground watched with tension. Elizabeth stood among them, calm but ready. She knew this was a test. The universe still did not want them, but here they had a chance to fight back. Captain Daniel Pierce was at the control center. His hands worked quickly as he directed Earth's defenses. Rockets launched into space, and warning sirens rang loud. The new friends from Earth worked together with the refugees. No one wanted to lose this new home. Lieutenant James Carter led a group of soldiers outside. They checked every corner, every path. James knew the enemy might try to strike when they were least prepared. He told his team, "Stay alert, protect the people. We fight for our future." Elizabeth moved among her people, giving quiet words of hope. "We are strong because we never gave up, and we must show the universe our strength. This is our home." The ships fired first. Bright flashes lit the sky as lasers and missiles flew. Daniel's voice was steady in the chaos. "Shields holding. Return fire." Rachel Mason was in the lab, working on ways to make the colony safer. She tested new shields and systems, trying to improve every defense. She knew this fight was not just with weapons, but with brains and heart. Outside, the battle raged. The people of Earth and the refugees stood side by side, fighting together. The enemy ships were strong, but the defenders were stronger. Years of pain and rejection had made them tougher than anyone expected. After hours of fighting, the enemy began to retreat. The sky cleared, and silence returned. The people cheered quietly. They had won this battle, but Elizabeth knew the war was not over. That night, she gathered her council. "This was only the beginning," she said. "They fear us because we survived. We must prepare for what comes next. We need more allies. Need to be ready for anything." Daniel nodded. "We will train harder. We will build better ships. We will show the universe that we belong," Rachel added. "And we will keep improving our technology. Our knowledge is our greatest weapon." James looked around the room. "We protect each other. No one stands alone. Together we are stronger than anyone who wants to push us away." Days turned into weeks. The colony grew. Fields were planted, buildings raised, and new machines made. The refugees taught the Earth people many things, and they learned from each other. It was not easy. There were arguments and mistakes, but slowly they built a community where everyone mattered. Elizabeth watched the children playing in the fields. They laughed and ran, free from fear, for the first time. This was why she fought. For their future. One evening, Daniel came to her with news. "We detected a signal from another human group, far from here. They have also been rejected by the universe. They want to join us." Elizabeth's eyes shone with hope. "It's more like us, people who survived. We must find them. Together, we will be stronger." She made plans to send a team to meet this group. It was a risk, but one worth taking. The universe had pushed them away, but mankind would not be broken. In the quiet of her chamber, Elizabeth thought about how far they had come, from outcasts to fighters, from refugees to leaders. The universe had rejected them, but here on this small blue planet, humanity was building something new. No matter what came next, Elizabeth knew they would face it together. They were not just survivors. They were a family, force, a new hope for the future. The universe might have turned its back before, but now mankind stood tall. They would never be forgotten again. The signal from the distant group of humans gave new hope to the colony. Elizabeth sent Captain Daniel Pierce and Lieutenant James Carter to meet them. They prepared the ship for the journey, knowing the trip could be dangerous, but also necessary. Before they left, Elizabeth gathered the people. "This is our chance to grow stronger, to find others like us. We must protect our home and show the universe that humanity cannot be ignored." Daniel and James set off with a small team. The journey through space was long and full of dangers. They passed through dark fields of debris and avoided unstable stars. The team worked together, watching each other's backs. Finally, they reached the new group. It was a small colony of humans, struggling just like them. The leader was a woman named Lisa Turner. She welcomed Daniel and James with open arms. "We thought no one else was left," Lisa said. "We need help. The universe has pushed us aside," Daniel replied. "We are here now. Together we will be stronger." Back on Earth, Queen Elizabeth worked with President John Mitchell and Commander Laura Bennett to strengthen defenses. They knew more enemies could come. Fear of attack was always close, but they refused to live in fear. Rachel Mason and her team created new shields and weapons. They studied the technology left behind by old wars and made it better. Their work gave the people confidence. Life on the colony was not easy. Some people doubted the newcomers from the other group, but Elizabeth believed in unity. She called meetings and spoke to both groups. "We are all the same. Humans who want peace and a future. We must trust each other to survive." James helped train the new arrivals. They learned how to defend themselves and protect the colony. The soldiers worked day and night. They knew the next attack could come at any moment. One evening, as the sun set, alarms suddenly sounded. This time the attack was larger. More ships appeared in the sky. They were fast and powerful. Elizabeth stood with Daniel, James, and Laura. "Hold the line," she said. "We fight for everyone here." The battle was fierce. The enemy used strong weapons, but the defenders used their new technology and skills. The sky lit up with explosions and flashes of light. In the control room, Daniel coordinated the defense. "Keep pushing. We can win this." James led a team on the ground, defending the colony's walls. They fought hard, saving many lives. Rachel worked to keep the shields up. She guided the engineers to fix damaged systems quickly. Her calm voice helped others stay strong. Hours passed. The enemy began to lose ground. Slowly, their ships retreated. The colony had survived again. Elizabeth looked at her people. This is our home. We will fight for it no matter what. The victory brought pride, but also new challenges. More refugees wanted to join them. The colony grew larger. Resources were stretched thin. Elizabeth knew they had to prepare for a future where humans could stand together, not just survive. She sent messages to other distant groups. Join us. We will protect you. Together, we will build a new world. The universe had once rejected them. It had cast them aside as weak and unwanted. But humanity was different. They were strong because they never gave up. Queen Elizabeth looked at the stars above. The fight was far from over. But now, the people had hope and strength. They had a home. They had a family. They had a future. And they would never stop fighting for it. The new alliance of humans was growing stronger every day. People from many places came to Earth, seeking safety and a new start. Queen Elizabeth stood before the large crowd gathered in the main square of the colony. Her eyes shone with pride and determination. We have been rejected by the universe, she said. It called us weak, unwanted. But here we stand, united and strong. This is our home, and we will protect it together. The crowd cheered loudly. Men and women, boys and girls, all felt the power of those words. For the first time, many felt that they belonged. Captain Daniel Pierce stood beside Elizabeth. He had seen too many battles to count, but this moment was different. It was more than a fight for survival. It was a fight for respect, for a place in the universe. Lieutenant James Carter looked out over the crowd. He remembered when they first arrived, scared and alone. Now, they were a force to be reckoned with. He felt proud to protect these people. Dr. Rachel Mason had worked day and night to keep the colony safe. Her new technologies had saved lives. She smiled quietly as she watched the people celebrate their victory and new future. Not far away, Commander Laura Bennett spoke with President John Mitchell. They agreed that the colony must keep growing. More training, better defenses, and stronger alliances were needed. The universe was still dangerous, but humanity had proven it would not give up. Elizabeth knew this was only the beginning. Many challenges lay ahead. More enemies would come, and resources would be tested. But the spirit of the people was stronger than any threat. She thought of the children playing nearby. They were the future.
Oh.
They deserved a world where they could grow without fear. A world where they were not cast out but welcomed. That night, Elizabeth stood on a hill overlooking the colony. The stars twinkled above, silent witnesses to their journey. She remembered the long years of running, hiding, and fighting. Remembered the pain of rejection and the hope that kept them alive. The universe had pushed them away, but mankind had found a way. They had taken their fate into their own hands. Elizabeth whispered to the night, "We are here, we are strong, and we will never be alone again." The days that followed were full of hard work. The new humans who arrived were welcomed with open arms. They shared their skills, stories, and hopes. The colony became a place of learning and growth. Captain Daniel led missions to explore nearby systems, searching for more survivors. Lieutenant James trained new soldiers to protect the expanding colony. Dr. Rachel worked on new inventions to improve life and safety. Peace was fragile but real. The people knew they had to stay ready, but they also dared to dream. One morning, a message arrived from a distant system. It was a call for help. Another group of humans was in trouble. Elizabeth and her leaders knew what they had to do. They gathered the best ships and pilots. Daniel and James prepared to lead the rescue mission. Elizabeth watched them go with hope and faith. They were no longer alone in the universe. Together, they could face anything. The universe might have rejected them before, but mankind had shown that strength comes not from power alone, but from heart, unity, and hope. Elizabeth smiled as she looked to the stars. A new chapter had begun. Her story was far from over, and this time they would write it themselves.